August 8, 2014, a user named Simon PRJ posted a video on YouTube called "Grave Robbing for Morons." This was a digital re-upload of a very old VHS recording, and it was extremely disturbing. In the video, a young man explains in detail, step by step, how to rob graves and sell human remains on the black market.
Grab it by the eyes or the nose. You pull it out, put your finger all the way in. There's nothing there that will hurt you at all. All right, you have to make sure of that. There's nothing that can hurt you. Do not be afraid. Pull it out like that. Do not pull it by the teeth, or else it'll break out like that, and you will have holes.
What makes this video even more disturbing is not just what it shows, but the mystery around it. To this day, no one knows who the man in the video is. His identity is still unknown, and no one has ever come forward to take responsibility. Because of this, the internet is divided into two strong opinions. Some people believe this is real footage of an actual grave robber. Others think it's just a strange horror video made to shock viewers. Interestingly, while researching this topic, I found evidence that supports both sides. One thing is clear though. The original video is very old. The earliest mention I found of the title "Grave Robbing for Morons" was on an old online store for horror VHS tapes called Shocking Videos. The website listed the tape for sale in April 2003, stating, "What we have here is genuine camcorder footage of a drunken teenage stutter giving a half-hour lecture on how to steal body parts from graveyards for fun and profit, while holding a fresh rotting skull in his hands." That said, the original video is probably from the late 80s. We can clearly see a VHS box of the 1987 movie Evil Dead 2 about 5 minutes and 43 seconds into the video. And to narrow it down even more, there's also a magazine in the bottom left corner at the same time. It's an issue of Horror FX, which was part of a special Fangoria edition released in July 1989. This means the video was most likely filmed around that time. The horror items seen throughout the video suggest that the person who made it was probably a big horror fan, just trying to create something creepy for fun. And while a lot of the advice in the video sounds very real, like explaining how to remove a skull from a body that hasn't fully decomposed yet, there are also parts that feel very strange or unrealistic. For example, at one point, the host suggests knocking out witnesses so they think everything was just a dream.
Never leave witnesses. If you have to knock them out so that way they think it's a dream.
This gives more support to the idea that the person in the video doesn't have real experience with grave robbing and is just making things up for the video. On the other hand, some people believe the skull shown in the video looks too real and detailed to be fake. As for the strange and mixed advice, that could be explained by another theory, that this might have been his first time doing something like this, and he was just pretending to know more than he actually did. But this is where things start to get really eerie. Near the end of the tape, the man almost says his full name, but suddenly stops before finishing his last name.
Okay, this was made by Anthony. Well, as a matter of fact, let's forget the last name.
Back in 1999, a man named Anthony Kasam Masima was arrested in New York for stealing an expensive stained glass window from a cemetery. There was a real chance that he could have been the same person who made the Grave Robbing for Morons video. However, there are a few things that don't match. For example, I didn't find any charges against Anthony that involved disturbing or stealing human bodies. He mainly focused on stealing valuable items like stained glass. More importantly, he was 40 years old when he was arrested in 1999. If he had made the tape, he would have been around 30 at the time. But the man in the video looks much younger, so this seems unlikely. I also found a few other theories, but most of them lead nowhere. One theory says the man in the video could be Craig Bradley, who was arrested in 1995 for stealing human remains from a cemetery in upstate New York. Craig would have been about 24 when the video was made, which matches the young look of the person in the tape. He also looks somewhat similar. However, there's a problem with this theory. Craig doesn't have the noticeable stutter that the man in the video clearly has.
Winter months I'm laid off. So winter months don't usually pay.
Dig for you and everything, so you dig and your friend digs, and then it's another friend digs. You have to find someplace really so secluded, so that way there's no interruptions, okay?
Now, it's possible that he could have faked the stutter in the original video for some reason. However, most people online think that's very unlikely, especially because the way he stutters feels natural and real, not something someone is pretending to do. Grave robber or actor, the stutter is real? I've known several people with really bad stutters, and it's such a specific, uncontrollable behavior that makes it hard to fake this kid. Stutter feels unique and authentic. I've never seen an actor in a movie fake a stutter that felt this real. It's possible that one day the person in the video might come forward and tell the truth. But for now, we still don't know who he is, or whether this very realistic grave robbing video is actually real. In November of 2014, Nicole Allen bought a pink princess wand for her 2-year-old daughter at a dollar store on Lyon Avenue in Kettering. At first, it looked like a normal toy meant for kids, but there was something strange about it. The name of the wand was Evil Stick, which is already very unusual for a children's toy. It's likely that Nicole didn't notice this at the time. What made it even stranger was what the packaging promised. The wand claimed it could bring luster, beauty, and even wonderful music. For a simple toy, those claims sounded oddly dramatic. The Evil Stick turned out to be far more disturbing than just a low-quality toy. Unlike official products, bootleg items like this don't follow any safety rules or quality checks. The people who made this toy had complete freedom to design it however they wanted. And what they created was deeply disturbing. At the top of the wand, there was a piece of shiny foil. It looked like it was meant to copy the bright star you usually see on a normal princess wand. But that foil was actually covering something hidden underneath. While playing with the toy, Nicole's daughter accidentally peeled off the foil. What she saw underneath was shocking, a creepy image of a woman cutting her own wrist. For a 2-year-old child, this must have been terrifying. But it didn't stop there. When you pressed the button on the wand, instead of playing the wonderful music promised on the packaging, it played a creepy, haunting laugh. At the same time, a light turned on behind the image, making it glow. When Nicole Allen discovered the disturbing truth, she decided to share it publicly, hoping the toy would be banned from stores. News about the Evil Stick spread quickly and went viral, but even with all the attention, the toy remained just as mysterious and just as creepy. After some investigation, the disturbing image hidden inside the wand was traced back to a French photographer named Ludwig Rutter, known for creating extremely graphic and nightmarish artwork. Most of his work is too intense to be shown on platforms like YouTube. Even a quick look at his images can trigger a strong fear response. As for why such dark and graphic artwork ended up inside a children's toy, no one really knows. The only other detail people were able to find was that the toy was made in China. Beyond that, there was almost no information. The packaging didn't list a real manufacturer, and even searching the barcode led nowhere. In the end, the Evil Stick became one of those strange cases that makes you wonder. What other disturbing secrets could be hidden inside cheap children's toys? On July 2nd, 2017, an anonymous user posted a thread on 4chans asking, "How does someone live after taking the red pill in the 2006 volleyball incident?" Now, if you're wondering what that incident was, it's a strange and disturbing story. The post was talking about a supposed mass shooting where a gunman killed 14 people during a high school volleyball game in either South Dakota or Nebraska back in 2006. But here's where things get really strange. If you try to search for it online, you won't find anything. No news articles, no official reports, nothing. Just conspiracy websites and a few Reddit posts asking if it ever even happened. It's almost like the entire event never existed, or was somehow erased. Despite this, many people claim they remember hearing about it. Some even say they were near Mount Rushmore at the time and heard about it on the radio. For a long time, the only evidence online was a single still image from a home video, supposedly taken just before the incident, with the date September 27, 2006 shown on it. That was until a YouTuber named Some Ordinary Gamers, who often explores dark internet topics, found more while browsing a late-night forum on a site similar to 4chan. There, he came across disturbing images of a bloody school gym, images that were said to have been taken shortly after the shooting happened.
So right here, let's go down a little bit over here. They've got 2006 volley. Oh my God. Oh, we're gonna have to blur this one. Jesus Christ, that's actually like death footage. I think I remember this. I was searching around for some sort of proof of this happening, and apparently it's a snippet from a home video. Oh my God. We have to blur that out. I gotta make sure we note that, blur it real quick. Let me add that to the notes here. Jesus, it's like an actual straight up bloody massacre. It's like VHS recorded. This has to be from like a movie. There's no way. This has to be from like some movie. It's crazy as hell. That it's got like a CBI not for release. Like I assume CBI stands for like some sort of a governmental organization or something. That is so messed up. I feel like I should have known this or something. I don't even know if that's like a conspiracy. How is that a conspiracy? It's actually like death footage, unless it's from like some movie or something that we don't know about. Jesus Christ. That is actually the most chilling thing I've seen. We're like 5 minutes into this recording and already it's just like death footage has hit the building.
The most popular theory says the incident really did happen, but it was covered up by the US government. According to this idea, the government was trying to assassinate someone who was attending the high school volleyball game. But something went wrong, and many of the young players were caught in the crossfire. Because this would have caused massive public outrage, the theory claims the government told news outlets not to report the story, and even paid the victims' families to stay silent. However, even though the US government has covered things up before, this theory feels very unlikely. Hiding something this big for so many years without any solid proof leaking out is extremely difficult. A more realistic explanation is that this could be a case of the Mandela effect, where large groups of people remember something incorrectly. Interestingly, there was a real incident in 2006 that may have caused this confusion. It's known as the Platte Canyon High School hostage crisis. In that case, a 53-year-old man named Dwayne Roger Morrison took several female students hostage, assaulted them, and tragically killed one of them. This event also happened on September 27, 2006, the same date shown in the supposed image. It took place in Colorado, which could explain why people in nearby regions remember hearing about it. But there are major differences. The real incident had nothing to do with a volleyball game, and there was only one victim, not 14. Because of this, the most likely explanation is that the entire volleyball story is a hoax. While researching, I also found an interesting post from 2017 on a forum called Above Top Secret. In that post, someone talked about creating a fake story involving multiple school shootings in small towns in 2006, with all evidence supposedly erased from public records. If that's true, then one big question still remains. Where did the images come from? It's been over 7 years since this story first appeared online, and there are still no clear answers. And because of that, this remains one of the most disturbing and confusing internet mysteries out there. On March 20th, 2015, a YouTube channel called Lang Marine uploaded a 3.5-minute video titled Fresno La Harassment Ford Crew Cab that stalked me in my residence numerous times. The video showed the same vehicle driving past the camera twice in 3 minutes. The uploader was John Lang, a 51-year-old former Marine living in Fresno. The footage came from a security camera he had installed outside his home. In the description, Lang gave context to the strange situation. He said he had been criticizing how the Fresno Police Department and the local fire department used their budgets. Because of that, he believed they were now stalking and harassing him in retaliation. He also claimed the Ford truck in the video belonged to either the police department or the sheriff's office. The next day, he uploaded another video. It showed a man walking his dog outside Lang's home. The man stopped for a few seconds, then kept walking. Nothing unusual, but Lang believed something else. He claimed the man was actually a police officer in normal clothes trying to get his dog used to him, so the dog wouldn't see him as a threat if officers later broke into his home. Over the next 10 months, Lang kept posting videos showing what he believed was suspicious activity. A man walking up to his house, looking around, then leaving. A police truck stopping outside for a few seconds and then driving away. People appearing to watch or monitor his home. But the most disturbing video showed a black van stopping outside his house. Someone inside appeared to film the home with a large camera for about 30 seconds before quickly driving away. Lang believed it was a thermal imaging device being used to check if he was inside. By January 2016, he was fully convinced that the police were planning to kill him. On January 16th, he posted what would become his final video. It showed a cleaning company van parked outside his home. In the description, he wrote, "If I turn up missing or dead tomorrow, remember this van. I think I saw a couple of guys sneak out and into the building when it was parked here earlier. I've been causing the city of Fresno a lot of problems recently, which I now regret." Just a few days later, firefighters found John Lang dead inside his burning home with multiple stab wounds on his body. This was shocking for people who had been following his story. But this is where things became even more complicated. Early reports claimed he also had stab wounds on his upper back. If that were true, it would support his fears of being attacked and make the Fresno Police Department the main suspect. However, when the official autopsy report was released, it told a different story. It stated that he had only 3 stab wounds to his chest, and that they were self-inflicted. There was no mention of any wounds on his back. This raised serious questions. Was the first report simply wrong, or was something being covered up? This inconsistency caused major backlash online. Some people even started petitions asking for the case to be reopened. But to this day, the case remains closed. The story of John Lang is still a mystery. Was he truly being stalked, or was he suffering from paranoia? From the research available, the answer seems to be a mix of both. And it's worth mentioning that the Fresno Police Department has faced accusations of corruption in the past. In fact, a user on Reddit shared a story they claimed to know about the department, saying, "I mean, my friend's dad was FPD for decades, and Jerry Dyer showed up with some officers and threatened him back in the late 90s, so it wouldn't surprise me if the cops were intimidating this dude." So, did the Fresno Police Department really go after Lang? Maybe. But what seems more likely is that John Lang was becoming more paranoid over time and slowly losing touch with reality. From what can be seen, the man walking his dog was probably just doing that, walking his dog. The idea that he was somehow training the dog in just a few seconds is a bit far-fetched. Even the suspicious van can be explained in a simpler way. The device seen in the video looks more like a regular film camera on a gimbal, not some advanced thermal imaging tool. And the reason they were filming from a vehicle could be because they were independent filmmakers who didn't have permission to film in the area. But to be fair, all of this is still just speculation. The strongest evidence pointing to Lang's declining mental state comes from what happened right before his death. A day before the incident, he turned off the cameras inside his home. The last recorded footage showed him sitting there with a kitchen knife in his hand. On top of that, when firefighters arrived, every entrance to the house was blocked from the inside. If this had been a murder, the killer would not have been able to leave without removing one of those barricades.